Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Off Meta Musings. I'm your host, Itan, and we are back for our second part in the Slaanesh Sybarites faction review. I am back here again with Lila, who you may know as Mama Slaanesh. If you want to say hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Praise
And
Slaanesh, all that good stuff.
praise to Slaanesh. All hail Glatos Orsalon. And yeah, we're going to carry on, so let's get going. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have covered the heroes in our last video, so now we're on to the actual units. And we're going to start off with effectively the best units that you can take in the
Yep.
warband. Number one, I think we're all in agreement, the Slangor Fiendblood here.
Oh yeah, this thing is a monster. I absolutely love Slangor Fiendbloods. They're very similar to Necropolis Stalkers,
Yes,
which I got my teeth kicked in by a lot when I first started out playing
yeah,
Warcry.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, but now we have these in Chaos. They have a double that shows up. I know Dan from the Salty Sea is really a big fan of this double wherever it shows up, where they can basically take an extra move action, but they have to finish closer to an enemy fighter than they started.
Yeah, and it's got
Um,
6-inch range, right? So they have 6-inch move
yep.
anyway.
Yep, 6-inch move.
Yeah,
So essentially, it's a free move on a double. And you want these things to be getting into combat
for
in
sure.
most scenarios.
Yes,
But
solid damage
they're
profile as well.
so heavy hitting, especially for this points.
Yeah, and they come with
This
that
points
2-inch
widow.
of range as well, so that just pushes them out. It's kind of like they're almost. I would like to compare them to, if we look at some of the bespoke warbands, some of their leaders are basically
Mhm.
sitting on this stat line, but without that 6-inch movement. Whenever you got like a normal guy who can put out that kind of damage, you're always going to want to take it. Essentially,
Yep.
how many would you suggest taking? One, two?
I think one or two. Generally, you want to have Angors of some sort, but there's kind of three varieties. We covered the Slakecorn already. We'll cover another one later on. So generally, well, I think honestly, I want to have three Slangors in most of my Sybarites lists. Only one of them might actually end up being the base Fiendblood.
Sure. Next, we've got the Blissbrew Homunculus, our little guy with his brazier.
So this is basically best in show, not because it's an amazing unit or anything. It's not going to be doing a lot for you in game. It's just cheap.
It's cheap, yes.
It's cheap and it's just real easy to spam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really
Yeah.
easy if you've bought 1,000 Blissbarb Archer boxes.
Or if you convert.
Or if you convert, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think how I would convert these for anyone who does want to maybe go down the road of a Blissbrew Homunculus spam list, I think I would probably use maybe bits from the archers, bits from other random Slaanesh bits
Mm.
alongside the Hobgrots from Cruel Boys,
Oh, yeah, sure.
which are going to be about the same size. And that should get you a nice, maybe some Demonette heads, some spare Blissbarb Archer weapon. They're like Sybarite
Oh, you know
weapons,
what?
stuff like that.
If they still sold it, I don't know if they still do. Do you know of the goblins from Goblin Town from The Hobbit?
Hmm.
Those
Yeah,
little
I don't know
guys.
if they sell that kit, but that would also be a
They
good
were
option
amazing,
just
those
to
models.
Lanesh them up a little bit.
Oh, sure, yeah, but in terms of like little, like crazy little guys, I think
Little guys.
they
Yeah,
might
little
fit.
guys. Grots might also work, but
Yeah, maybe.
I think grots are like two I think grots are usually like one piece, so it's
Mm.
harder to convert them.
Sure, 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 sure. So yeah, so take Fiendbloods and
Mhm.
Homunculus basically to fill in the points, or if you want to
Yep.
go nuts with them, bring along.
I think you could probably get a good like Warcry 1.0 style list by just like taking a Lord of Pain or a Slake Horn and then two Fiend Bloods and then however many list brews
Yeah,
fit in that
just
list.
to fill in and just to hold points
Yeah.
while the other guys do the damage. Yeah,
Mm.
I agree. So next up, we've got the Twin Souls with Blades and the Lash, by the looks of things.
Just some pretty simple mid-range fighters. The Blades, pretty decent damage. Has this interesting threat of this quad. I wouldn't build too much into it,
Mm.
but it's very fun if you can get it off. The Lash
I really like the Lash.
is
That there's
really good. Yeah.
you you see a 3-inch range on a weapon and you think, okay, now we can do things with this.
3-inch range on the weapon, 2-4 damage from
Mm,
3-inch range is really good. There aren't a whole lot of lashes in the game that deal more than like 1-3, 1-4
sure.
damage. So that's really good. 4 attacks, again, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like a solid overround little fighter, 15 wounds, 4 tough, like just very, very solid. The Lash is also very good with the quad, I think, if you're going to use it.
Mhm.
Not because he has a lot of damage, but because of that range, you don't really need to. And the quad, I don't know if I said, I don't think we have it up here, but it's basically gets an extra attack or move, and then if he kills something in that attack action, he kind of just gets to keep going with
Mm,
it. But you only get one, either the attack or the move.
sure.
So I like the 3-inch range for that. There's going to be some magical scenario where the cards line up just right, and you get to quad and take down like 5 skeletons in a
Just
row.
start
Like,
whipping people.
oh yeah,
If I were to take Symbaresh, I'd probably lean towards the Lash a lot more because I'm very wary of that toughness 4 and how much more strength 5, strength 4 stuff there is in the game.
yeah.
So I think that 3-inch range really helps you it gives you maybe an extra turn's worth of survivability because you're not going to have to be in a fight with someone
Right.
to do damage to them. And I think that's really valuable. And it's 5 points cheaper. I really like that. Moving forward, we've got Myrmidesh or Symbaresh. So Painbringers are the other mid-range fighter that Sybarites have. Very different from Symbaresh.
They're more tanky. They're kind of more, so Symbaresh are a little bit more offense and Myrmidesh are a little bit more defense. So you do
Yes.
lose that point of strength. I don't think that 2.0 is super kind to 3 strength fighters in
No,
general.
there's a lot more in terms of the fighters people want to bring and people are bringing. There's a lot more toughness 4 around, and I found that I was playing around with Blissbringers earlier on, and that strength 3 really hurt when you're basically wounding everything on 5s.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time.
They do have a double that gives them more damage,
Yeah.
so you might be able to leverage a little bit more damage, even if you're not hitting with as many attacks.
Yes.
And they have toughness 5, so like again,
Yes.
toughness
Yes.
5, like 15 wounds. They're very decent at just kind of soaking attack
Mhm.
as well.
And then we've got the Symbaresh with a bunch of different weapon profiles, things. We've already talked about the lash. We've already talked about the blades. You kind of get a choice of what you want to do and you want to build them.
Generally, I think the lash is the best option, and I think that in general, I would lean more towards Myrmidesh Painbringers than
Yeah.
Symbaresh. Just because of that toughness 5. Even with the 3 strength, I kind of like that you get more of an option with the Myrmidesh of, do I just sit here and counter?
Yes, that's true.
I think that's also a very valid way to play them with those 15 wounds.
I think if the faction didn't have damage elsewhere, then I would say, yeah, sure, go with Symbaresh because that's what you need. But considering you've got Slangor messing around in the
Yeah.
faction, you've got the Lord of Pain if you need to do damage, there's a lot of damage options. And I think Myrmidesh kind of brings something different to the table as opposed to, oh, well, I'm just going to hit you and I'm going to do some stuff.
I think Myrmidesh really support those like faster, heavier hitters.
Yep.
If you have your Slangors running around the board or your Lord of Pain running out around the board after priority targets, you kind of your Myrmidesh just like shore up, like, tie up fighters, shore up objectives, and hold those. They're very good at just kind of supporting your other units.
For sure. Very good. Something that isn't very good. Well, we don't know if it's very good or not. I think Cavalry have a bad rap in Warcry.
I like cavalry
I mean,
just because
they're
so
cool.
many mounts are so cool.
Yeah, exactly. But they kind of pay. So what the way the points kind of work out nowadays, you're paying a lot for a high movement stat. And because you're already paying a lot for that stat, you kind of need everything else to go with it in order to kind of get your points back from your cavalry piece. And the problem with light cavalry is that they kind of don't have the additional stuff that they need. They don't have enough damage, they don't have enough survivability, and all they have is just super high movement. But you can't just win the game off of super high movement. Eventually, you're going to get hit, and eventually, you need to do damage. And I think that's kind of the problem with this kind of light cavalry style fighter.
I think all of the light cavalry could really be lowered by even as much as 30 points. Slickblade Seekers are the best here, but they're just worse Slangors. There are plenty of factions that would like kill to have Slickblade Seekers.
Yeah,
It's just unfortunately they're just completely outshined by Slangors.
sure, yeah. There's speed in an entire faction of fastlings, which kind of
So
doesn't work in their favor.
if people make cavalry work, let me know how
Sure.
you're doing it because I've got no idea how to use anything on this screen because it's all kind of bad.
Yeah. Oh, from the numbers
We
anyway.
think.
Flat
We
out.
think.
We think, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That brings us then
Yeah.
neatly into the archers. So these are the last choices that are available for Sybarites. Some of the best models. I really love the Slaanesh archer models. I think
Yeah,
they do a real good job.
they're very cool.
Yeah, but they kind of have the range problem that everything has when they went into this edition.
Yeah.
You're paying a lot for that maximum range, in the same way that cavalry are paying a lot for the movement. Archers are paying a lot for that maximum range that they have. And so they've got the range, but they also downed the amount of attacks, and in most cases, they down the amount of strength and the amount of damage that they do. So generally, your base archer is going to do 2 attacks at 1/3 damage. That's just not good enough. And they don't have the defensive stats to stick around. So if you wanted to bring 1 or 2, you're probably better off bringing the hero, because the hero is going to do better.
The only real use that I can see for the small archers in this edition is for specifically objective missions.
Mm.
You have them stand on your home objectives and
Think good
just kind of
stuff.
hold those and just ping things.
So the last thing I've got here, thanks to the recent errata and FAQ, we now have access to the Dread Pageant, which
Yay.
is great. It's really good. It gives some
Beautiful
options.
models.
They are fantastic. They've got some options that it opens up that otherwise wouldn't be there. They've got our boy Slaanesh, who is basically
Yep.
the best fighter in the
The
warband, I
best
want to
fighter
say.
in the entire warband.
Yeah,
Bar
exactly.
none.
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to listen to anything from this slide, it's take Slaanesh. If you were going to
Take Slate
take
Slash.
Slangor, take Slaanesh.
Yep. He's
Um,
your friend.
exactly, because he's cheaper than a Slakecorn. He does more damage than a Slakecorn.
I love that big like lobster claw that actually has like the claw joint. Like
Yeah,
he's snipping people with that.
he is snipping people. And you can see it here. You've got Slash's weighted average damage is sitting at damage
Oh,
9. And if we remember what I spoke about when we talked
Important.
about heroes, I really like having an average damage of more than 8, because it really pushes your ability to one-shot chaff models, especially combined with his double. You're going to get that extra move anyway, so you don't want to waste that move
Yep.
on not killing a thing that you run into. So he's pretty good, old Slash.
I do kind of wonder if you can take Slake Slash, Vasilak, and Lord of Pain and have like a decent
That'd be nice.
like average 9 damage.
Imagine running into that. You would basically
Oh
have to
god, yeah.
almost guarantee to kill a thing, or you're going to take, between doubles, you're going to take like 20 wounds back.
Yeah.
So that might be pretty good, actually.
Vasilak is, I think he's the second best option here. If you're paying the points for him anyway, most of the time you probably just want to pay 15 points more and go Lord of Pain. But he's very good for what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more movement, more crit damage, more range, and more wounds.
Vasilak is pretty great.
I love
yeah.
his shield as well. I think it's pretty funky.
Oh, his shield is fantastic. He's kind of a weird hybrid of a Lord of Pain meets a Myrmidesh meets a
Yeah.
Symbaresh.
Is
Really cool.
If the Myrmidesh had I want to say Lord option, because they have a hero option. If they had like a Lord option, this is what it would be, and he's pretty good.
Oh yeah, fantastic model.
We've got the other two.
Glissette is the glaive builder, and Hadzu is the archer.
Sure, Glissette's the best looking one, if you ask me.
Yes. I don't know why we didn't get her as a. I'll complain about this in every video that we talk about that I'm in that we talk about Glissette. I don't know why we didn't get just the box of Glissettes for Age of Sigmar. Where's that? Where's that, Games Workshop? I know you have it. I know you have it in like a warehouse, in like a warehouse somewhere. You've got you've got the blueprints for infantry that are just Glissette. I know it's there. Where is it? Release it.
An entire sprue of 10 of them somewhere.
Yep, just somewhere in a warehouse.
But Glissette, is she any good?
I think she's in a weird, awkward place of being better than most of the regular Symbaresh, but worse than the Symbaresh with Lash and the Myrmidesh Painbringers.
Okay.
So she's strength 3, toughness 3, so she's really squishy.
Yeah.
Compared to the Myrmidesh, which are the same exact point values. She does have 2-inch range, which is good. Her quad for these are, they make a bonus attack action, and if either fighter has any damage points on them, you add 1 to the attack's characteristics of that action, and if both of them, you add 3.
Sure.
But I think you're better off just taking the Myrmidesh. I think they're just more solid. But as it is, Slake Slash and Vasilak. Hadzu is a high tempter, but 20 points cheaper. So everything that I said in the hero video for the high tempter pretty much applies to him.
But
like,
he's not a hero, which
it.
is actually really good, because it allows you to open up those hero slots, which is nice.
Yep.
He's got the right rune marks to do everything that the high tempter needs to do. Is that right?
Yep.
Very good.
I believe so, yeah. Right. If you want to have like a ranged package in your Sybarites list, I think Kadzu is where you want to be. I'm
Yeah.
just not convinced that you would ever want that in the first place.
Exactly. So to take things away from this, take Slate Slash. The leader's pretty good. Maybe there's a world for Slate Slash, the leader, Lord of Pain, to do weird and wonderful things together. Moving on to allies, people have seen me do this enough for Chaos factions. The same guys pop up each time. It's Varangard, Blissbringer, because unlike the fast cavalry options that are available in faction, the Blissbringer kind of has none of the downsides of those. We're looking at the same points value as the
Hunter Seeker.
The Hunter Seeker, exactly.
Yep.
But way better, much better abilities. It's got the net on a double. It's got the bonus attack damage. It can do a lot, the Blissbringer. The only thing, like I said, I don't like about it, I don't necessarily mind the toughness 3. The strength 3 is it's a bit of a liability.
I think you want to take it alongside like other hitters.
Yeah.
My Slaanesh Demons list, for example, takes 2 of them alongside the Varangard. It shouldn't be your main heavy, but it's kind of an off DPS almost.
Yeah,
like kind of a.
I think it's a utility piece, really. It can do damage. It can do a net. So it's kind of in that.
And
range.
it'll absolutely win if you just corner a treasure carrier. It's gonna kill the thing.
It's also got 30 wounds, so it's not exactly super squishy.
Right.
Which I quite like about it. Varangard, we've talked about the Varangard a lot. It's really good. It's really expensive. It'll do what you need it to do. I quite like the Mind Stealer Spherix nowadays. I've been using it a lot in my Rotmire Creed, and I think it's kind of a nice middle ground between the Blissbringer and the Varangard. It's got a super solid damage profile, 4 attacks at strength 525, really good. It's a lot more survivable than the Blissbringer because it's got that toughness 5. It has a net on a double, just like the Blissbringer, and it's got some other...
It's a less efficient net.
It's a less efficient net, but you're getting a lot more damage out of it.
Yep, for sure.
So
because it's only hitting on 3+, I believe.
Yeah, 3s instead of 2s on the Blissbringer. So you're paying, 55 points, but I think for the points that you're paying, it's worth it. What you're bringing it for is the double, which is the net, and the quad. So the quad turns off a fighter.
Yes.
It's got a
Contorted
range.
Epitome.
Yes, it's basically the same as that, which is actually fantastic.
Which is actually one of the quads that is situationally better than Rampage.
It is most definitely. If you're facing a Varangard and you have a Mind Stealer and you want to turn it off and you roll that quad, then you got to watch out. I think it kind of fills all of these little niches. It's not the best at any of them, but it kind of does what it needs to do. It's on a big old base as well, so you can kind of use it to block off sections of the board. And I really like it. There's a couple of other options we have. The Enraptress, I guess you wanna cover that?
Kind of the same thing we were talking about in the first video. The Shard Speaker, the Enraptress. You can have 2 of them, and because the ability is on a double, you can conceivably activate both of them in the same turn, in the same battle round, which is -2 to attack.
Yeah, so as a reminder, the Shard Speaker's ability is on a triple, all enemy fighters within 6 inches are at -1 attack, which is really powerful in Warcry, considering that most things only have 3 or 4 attacks. So if you can double down on that only for doubles, I think it becomes quite impressive, especially when you combine that with Myrmidesh and their toughness 5. They basically become unkillable walls. You can hide an Enraptress behind a Myrmidesh and it'll live all day.
I think that list would be very good against the more elite fighters than against like a big chaff wall, because the chaff are just going to be reacting anyway.
Yes, exactly. And if you're playing a list kind of like that in objective missions, you really want to be clearing things off of objectives, and playing slightly more passively might not do it for you. Things like treasure missions or...
Oh, and treasure missions, if you can just double to get that +3 inch movement on one of your guys, go pick up treasure and then just wall up.
Yeah, become
so effective. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, those are the ones that we advise. Really, it's going to be Varangard or Mind Stealer, whichever one you prefer. This is kind of the base Slaanesh list, I guess.
Yeah, this was before the FAQ.
But it didn't do anything, the FAQ.
Nope, Slake Slash.
Oh yeah, Slake Slash, of course, yes. Yes, we have Slake Slash now. So he'll fit in there.
He fits in somehow.
Replace one of the Fiend Bloods, effectively. Even if you don't run Slake Slash, this is a solid list.
Yep. Solid list. This one I think suffers from being, I think there's a better list out there. This is very much a good stuff list. This is very much a mid-range list. This is very much a list without really any tricks or any super strong cohesive synergies.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of fairly efficiently pointed fighters that can whack things
Yeah.
and sit on objectives.
Sure.
So I think there's a better list out there, but this is kind of a good baseline to measure your lists against and hopefully get everyone watching interested in brewing around these lists. Like I said, now that I thought about it, I'm really interested in trying out the Lord of Pain plus
Oh yeah.
Vasilak plus
The,
Slake Slash to
the
get
nine
those.
base damage lists, and then you can just fill it out with
Yes.
homunculus if you want to get boys on the field.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I think it'll be interesting. They're not massively expensive, either of those fighters. You can still probably
No.
get 4 or maybe 5 Bliss Brews in there to bring up your
Yeah.
numbers. So yeah, maybe that's gonna be that's gonna be it. Like you charge a Sybarite and then you just get smashed down if you can't kill it. So yeah, that's it from us. Hopefully you have some of this has been informative for you, and it'll help you building your Sybarite lists. Thank you very much for joining me here. It's a nice change from me just rambling to myself on the computer.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
That's fine.
I take every opportunity that I can possibly get to platform my Slaanesh ramblings.
We did mention before that I am working on a Sybarite list. It's a long-term
Yeah.
project. You can actually check some
Oh
of that stuff
no.
out. Yeah, you can check some of that stuff out on my other platforms.
It
But yeah,
looks quite good from what I saw so far. I don't know what all you're doing with that. If you're putting in some I think with the like basing and everything that you have down there, I think you could definitely maybe do that Vasilak Fiendblood
oh yeah,
list.
yeah. I'm gonna give that a go.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, that's it from us for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more stuff like this and more faction breakdowns and to help me get more people come on the show, then please do not forget to like and subscribe. And let me know. Let me know what you think about what you've seen. If you've got any cool Slaanesh combos that you want to show off. If you think we're crazy and you know some amazingly powerful archer lists that you want to share, let us know down in the comments. And we will see you next time.